This is a top 40 love song music compilation going on outside right now. So I'm not in my room right now. I'm in my friend's room down the hall from my room. Because I walked in and my roommate was asleep, so I wasn't about to wake her up so I could vlog. But it's 10 p.m., guys, and she's in there sleeping. It's adorable because, well, it's slightly creepy, I guess. She's humming in her sleep. So, I mean, this is better than, like, anything else. A few quick things before I talk about what I want to talk about. I will be home for Thanksgiving, Tuesday the 26th, and I'll just be home through that weekend. It's not very long or exciting or anything. I approve of Alex's idea of the party on Becca's roof. Becca approves of that, so we should do that, guys. Thor 2 was awesome. Loki made the movie. It would have sucked without him. The plot did suck, but Loki didn't, so what up? So I found a website that I had made when I was 11, so 7 years ago, and it's the RRs versus Monkey page, which it's a thing that my cousins did. The boys made this club called the Monkeys, and we thought we were too cool for that, and me and Rachel wanted to start another club called the RRRs, which stood for Rebecca and Rachel Rule. And we wanted other people to join our club because other cousins were joining the Monkeys. So we decided, no, RRRs stand for the Red Ruby Rabbits. So we made this website trying to get people to join our club. It was really funny. But anyway, when I was looking at that website, I noticed that my grammar was exceptional for an 11-year-old at least. My grammar was really good, and it sort of reminded me of this conversation we were having yesterday. It started off as a really ugly, really bad debate about the concept of Spanglish and who is qualified to speak Spanglish and who is not, and all that stuff. But then that turned into a really good conversation about bilingual education and the American education system and whatnot. I saw an argument starting, and I had my headphones on. I did not want to get involved, and I just sat there. But then I listened to some of the stuff about who was and wasn't qualified to say that they spoke Spanglish, and that sort of, I needed to get involved in that conversation, and I ended up doing so until I had to just leave the room because it was obviously not going anywhere. I think it comes down to the definition, because my definition of Spanglish is just, it's not just the mix of Spanish and English just by like saying hombre or chica at the end of a sentence. I think it's just the whole broken Spanish. My grandma speaks Spanglish because she was not formally taught Spanish, or English for that matter, because she didn't continue schooling past much of high school. I don't even remember. But she was not formally taught Spanish, so her Spanish is broken. There are lots of gaps in her Spanish education that she just happens to fill in with English words. And to me, that's the definition of Spanish. It's just the broken of Spanglish, I'm sorry. It's just the broken Spanish that's just filled in with remnants of English, and it's not a voluntary thing. It's not, you don't need to be fluent in Spanish to speak Spanglish. I think my definition is just people who can't. I speak Spanglish. I was not formally taught Spanish. Mostly because I was embarrassed to study it. I didn't want to start in Spanish 1 and have to sit there with all these kids saying hola, ¿cómo estás? When I feel like that's below me, but I was never taught how to conjugate. I was never taught any formal Spanish. I was never spoken Spanish as a kid, and that just sort of embarrassed me, and I didn't want to sit in a classroom setting and have people teach me I couldn't speak Spanish, even though I was raised around Spanish speakers. To me, it's just a sad thing, and bilingual education is something that I think is necessary. Yesterday, I watched Michael's video on cultural appropriation, and I thought that it was relevant to the situation because the girl was white, and she was claiming that Spanglish was part of her culture because she was raised in Southern California, which I understand, but at the same time, it just seems sort of insulting that someone who has gotten a formal education in Spanish, such as herself, would try to reclaim Spanglish as a culture, when really it's just a sad, broken subculture that should be fixed, but we have not done so. The blog sucks, and I'm sorry that I'm not posting it from my room or anywhere with better lighting. See you next week, guys. Love you.